Hello, this is Tate with Black Bear Outdoors, blackbearoutdoors.net, and today we're going to be talking about my mini survival kits. Well, we designed this kit to be able to be lasting for 5 days in the wilderness, and that it would have the basic needs to get around, and was designed to be carried as an emergency kit. So something you can throw in your backpack in case you forget something, or if you're hiking, enough gear to last through a few nights in case you had to sleep it out there. If you've sprained your ankle, maybe you've had an issue where you've got lost or something like that. So the kit is based around what we call the rules of three. It's something I talk a lot about in our survival training. The first rule is you can live 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. Now the kit, if you look here, is designed in that basic terms. So the first thing we want to talk about, and it's about 18 items here that kind of get you through everything you're going to need. But the first one we're going to talk about is supplies for building a shelter. So the first thing we have is an emergency blanket. Now emergency blankets are the high thermal efficiency mylar or plasticky type blankets. These guys are great. They really do work. I've used them to save my life on the top of Mount Whitney and several other different occasions. They really do work. They reflect about 90% of the heat. Now they do make a new version that's a little bit more plasticky, so it doesn't make as much noise. But those guys run for a couple bucks or $5 for the little bit more expensive versions. Now I put that around the outside of the bottle. That way it's easy to get to in case I need to get to it right away. Maybe I've fallen in the water or something like that and need to get myself warm again. The second thing I have in my kit, and it's always right on the very top, are my garbage bags. The reason I have garbage bags is that can be used in making a shelter. It can be used in making a SOS symbol, or the biggest thing I use it for is wind and water blockage on my body. So I can actually cut a neck hole, armholes, and I can go ahead and stick my head and arms out of there, blocking the wind, which is what's really going to chill my inner core, and be able to also keep the rain off me so I can still work, and with the emergency blanket in combination, help keep my body heat up. The next thing we're going to talk about are zip ties. These are great for all kinds of things. We can use them in building our shelter. We can use it to maybe help with a splint or something like that we've had to do. We have, everybody's best friend. We have a couple feet of duct tape that I always wrap around the outside of the bottle. I try to use as many things as multi-purpose. So instead of having the roll wrapped around there, we just actually have the can or the bottle that actually makes it possible to make the loop around the bottom. So about 2 feet of duct tape, which again, blisters, all kinds of things you can use your duct tape for. The next thing on our list is going to be 5 cotton balls in I use the little snack Ziploc bags. Those guys are soaked in Vaseline. It's really easy to throw a spark into those or to light. They burn for a couple minutes a piece. It's quite impressive how well they burn for something so cheap. We have something I really like, which would be a box cutter. And the reason I like to use box cutters instead of knives is because if they get dull, we can just snap the blade off. They also have a lock on them, so they'll lock in. They're long and nice. You can get your whole hand around them, so a small pocket knife is a little too small for what I like to use this for, but you can use it for whittling and making your fire sticks and things like that. The next thing is going to be a butane lighter. I really like having lighters in the kit. Very simple. They have the ability to light up, run even when wet. Usually you can dry them out enough to light a fire. And I like the idea that even if you're out of your fluid inside, you can still light your cotton balls with just the igniter on the top. The next thing is going to be a box of matches. You can either put like 25 matches in here. These are waterproof storm matches. They work really good in all conditions. And remember, the water bottle makes the whole kit internally waterproof, so you don't need to actually put those in anything. Our next item is going to be our Band-Aids. And again, there's no ointment on these because we don't want any smells in our kit. Most people that are attacked with their kits, and because they put hard candy, things like that in their kits, and remember, we can last about 3 weeks without food, so it shouldn't be our first item to worry about. So making sure you've got your Band-Aids in there, just some basic stuff to kind of taking care of so we're not getting any infections, things like that. This is 12 feet of rope that's been looped in here. It's actually 15 feet of rope, so it's a foot long of a piece of rope, and it has 400-pound tests, 3mm cord, and that guy is 15 feet long. And we'll actually talk a little bit more about how to make that knot and get all that on there. The next thing is going to be an emergency whistle. The emergency whistle, what's really nice about that is this is one of the Fox 40 emergency whistles. We really like these guys. They're a whistle that can be worked underwater and above water, so if it gets wet or anything like that, the pee won't stick and you can still blow. And even if you don't have the ability, like your lips are too dry to actually yell, this can be heard from miles away, really, in the best case scenario. The next thing we're going to talk a little bit about is going to be a little bit more about water gathering capabilities. Now, the first thing we want to talk about is the water bottle. I didn't put a condom or anything like that in my kit. My kit's completely waterproof because of the water bottle. And I'm also able to put my pills or gathering water, things like that, into the can. Now, I use a stainless steel water bottle so I can actually take and fill that full of water and stick it directly into the fire. So I have a kit. I like the Clean Canteen ones. The wide mouth ones are really nice, the 27 ounces. One, you can put one tablet in there. It's not going to hurt the can or plastic at all. It also has metal threads, stainless steel metal threads, and it is stainless steel all on the inside too. So there's not any plastic or anything in this bottle, so you can stick it directly in the fire. I always recommend picking the ones that are true stainless steel ones that don't have coloring or dyes or anything on the outside that has to be burnt off before you can use it. The next thing is water purification pills. Now, the water purification pills I use are the Catadine version. I really like these guys because they can just be dropped in, one per bottle of water. They also work great against cryptosporidium, which we've found that most of the time that iodine does not work well against. The other thing, now we have some of the food gathering capabilities here. We have some 24 gauge wire. I really like this stuff, works great for making snares, things like that. I have 30 feet of fishing line and weights and hooks. This is great to keep yourself busy doing things. 3 safety pins in case I rip clothing. I want to use them as hooks. I can use them as hot needles to pop blisters, things like that, all that kind of stuff. A couple of extras I put in my kit are the mini combat saws. Mini combat saws are great because you're able to cut things the size of my fist with very little space and weight. I mean, these weigh just ounces, and they're great for that reason. The other thing I like, this is a glow-in-the-dark stick, glow stick. These actually, when you crack them, glow for hours. This one lasts about 6 hours. You can buy these around Halloween time for a couple bucks. You can even put some of the bigger ones in your kit. And that will give you light if you need it. I try not to use that if possible. But that's basically our whole entire kit. Gives you kind of an idea of the basic minimum you need to get by to have just enough stuff that you need. And like I said, the biggest deal is to make sure you're having both kits. The other thing I have in my kit that I put in there that I think is really important is tinfoil. 2 feet of tinfoil. That can be used in having it for building a fire and actually putting our food in the fire, or cooking maybe fish on top of the fire, or just, like I said, wrapping it up and being able to use that. It also works really great for signaling planes, again with the same idea with the emergency blanket. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact us at blackbarrowoutdoors.net or give us a call at the store. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.